Hello, thank you for joining me for today's video. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, in Australia. I'm very excited today to be part of our World Card Making Day collaboration. I'm going to be making two cards. The one is a more simple card, and then the other one has a bit more of a wow factor. This is going to be a mini series of two videos. This is the card that we're going to start with. I'm using the Hues of Happiness suite, which consists of the stamp set, the dies, designer series paper, and there is also glossy dots. Now, I haven't used the glossy dots here. I've used the iridescent rhinestones because they're a little bit bigger and I wanted that in the middle of the flower. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm not big on coloring and I'm not big on fussy cutting. So my favorite thing about this suite is that the dies coordinate with the flowers on the designer series paper. That one will cut out that one. You've also got a die that cuts the big flower and the two different roses. Right up my alley. That means I don't need to fussy cut and I don't need to color. If you're using this sheet of paper, the one with the leaves on it, unfortunately that one you do have to fussy cut because none of the dies coordinate with the flowers with the leaves. But I'll take what I can get. A little bit of fussy cutting isn't too bad. You can see over here I've used one of those flowers. Now for the most part, I usually go and I mix up all the flowers together. This time I've decided to color coordinate, so we're only using one color. What I do is I go and I cut out a whole lot of the flowers whenever I've got time sitting watching TV or whatever, that I've got flowers die cut and ready to go, that when I want to use them, I just need to grab my envelope. Those dies will also cut out the little leaves that are on that designer series paper. Right, now all the measurements are in your tutorial, so I'm not going to give you any measurements as we're going through. For this card, I've decided I'm going to use the yellow flowers. Here you can see I've got a whole heap of yellow flowers cut out. And I was going to do Daffodil Delight and So Saffron, but they just didn't look good together. So I've decided I'm doing Night of Navy with the Daffodil Delight. One of my favorite color combinations is blue and yellow. So to me that just works really well together. Now, this card is easy to assemble. We're going to stick my yellow mat onto the front of the card. I'm going to stamp my sentiment before I do anything so that if I stamp it crooked, I can just turn it over and stamp again. If I don't do that, then if it's already stuck down, I have a problem, and stamping straight is not one of my strong skill sets. That doesn't look too bad. There are some lovely sentiments in here, and the font on this stamp set is absolutely beautiful. This has become one of my go-tos. Now, before I stick this, I'm going to stick my little piece on top. So I've taken my piece of Daffodil Delight, and with that die, which is in those Blossoming Happiness dies, I've just cut a piece on the top and the bottom edge. Now we're going to stick my little piece of white onto that is the same width, so it should fit exactly. And then that's going onto our white piece over here. Finally, I'm going to layer this onto the top of my card front. Now, when you're cutting out your flowers, some of them on the edge of the designer series paper are like a bit of a flower or a half a flower. Don't throw those away because you can use them. So what I'm going to do with this one is taking my flower that's cut from the edge, I'm going to stick it onto the edge of my insert so that we've got the flower like that. That's going to sit along the edge of the card. Layer this onto another piece of Daffodil Delight. And that's going into the inside. Now I'm going to do what I always laugh at everybody else for doing, is lay out my flowers how I think I like them and then lift them all up again to stick them down. We all do it, and it's the funniest thing when you're watching somebody else because you lay it and one's on top of the other, and you know, you've got work so hard to get it looking exactly pretty like you want it. And then you can't stick it because you have to lift all the flowers to get to the bottom to stick it. Let's put some leaves in here. All right, I think that I will be happy with that. So let's lift it. I'm going to position that rose slightly over that leaf. Now you have to try and remember where you had everything sitting, so that you can stick it like you'd previously arranged it. My final thing, I'm going to put a rhinestone in the middle of that flower too. There's our card with our pretty design on the inside. I hope that you'll join me for my next video where we're going to make this a little bit more fancy. See you in a little while. Bye.